Hello, hello friends. It's me, Allure Burns, and welcome back to my channel. I'm very glad that you're here or that you will be here in the future. And if you are new to my channel, jazz hands, these are your welcoming gift. Thank you for being here. Um, Today we're going to do a get ready with me because I need to get ready. You can check out my messy situation. Whatever, it's fine. We're all doing our best, right? Okay. I gotta get you situated. Sorry. Okay, so I like to have topics when we have get ready with me time because it keeps me on a topic and then I don't just like ramble about whatever, even though I probably will anyway. And today we are going to talk about bad body image days, and not only just like how crappy they can be, but also how we can turn them around or attempt to turn them around even just a little bit so that you can start to feel less terrible about your body, about yourself, about your life, whatever is going on. So we are going to get into it. If you're here live, you can comment with either your bad body image day experiences or any tips that you have on how to turn them around. And I will do the same. Okay, so I'm not gonna do like a full crazy face. I just need to get, or I don't need to, I just feel like putting on some makeup, and I'm gonna film something else later, so I wanted to look a little cute. Okay, I'm gonna start with a little bit of extra moisturizer. I just have clean skin right now. And I'm going to go in with my fave Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base, which I've been using for years, and I just like it. It's a great primer and moisturizer. Especially, I have really dry skin. Even in the summer, I can deal with some dry skin issues, although my dry skin has been much alleviated by the shift in skincare that I've done over the past 7 months because I started in January, so that's very convenient. It helps me remember. So I switched to Tatcha skincare products, and it has changed my skin. It is amazing. I don't wake up crusty anymore. Crusty is such a gross word, but I would wake up crusty in certain areas, like especially around my mouth, around my nose. Sometimes the texture, I wouldn't be crusty, but the texture here would be just like amped up. Anyway, using those products has really increased how hydrated my skin is, and I don't wake up crusty. So let's talk about bad body image days. I feel like every human being alive has had a bad body image day at some point. And if you haven't, you're living the dream, my friend. So I'm just going to put on this Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue Tinted Hydrating Gel Cream in the shade Buttercream. I had kind of a tan going, but I've lost it because I haven't been outside as much. So we're going back to, this is a little bit lighter than like my summer shade. This is my not summer shade. So in my life, like if you know much about me, you know that I've really struggled with body image my whole life, ever since I was a little kid. I've always been, or not always, for most of my life, I've been the fat kid, the fattest kid in the room, often the fattest person, like, you know, adult in the room in my adult life. And that takes its toll on you, just like being treated as different or othered, you know. If you have never been the fattest person in the room, it's really hard to understand. Although if you are a person of color and you've been the only person of color in the room, you can kind of start to understand. And if you are a fat person of color and the only one in the room, like even more so. It's really hard to be singled out, to be othered, and then also on top of that, to be treated the way that our culture, and I can only speak for the US because that's where I've lived, the way that the US treats fat people It's really intensely negative. It is often veiled in concerns of health, but it's not, if you really unpack people's attitudes and what they're saying, a lot of times it really doesn't end up being about health. It ends up being just a hatred of fat bodies in general, of fat in general. And it's not like the person who's saying that or thinking that is a monster. They are a product of our culture. That's what they've been taught. So I don't like, people are really mean to me all the time. And I don't like hate them. I wish that they wouldn't be mean to me, but I also recognize that they've been taught how to view fat people. And they've especially been taught how to view fat people that are not invested in, you know, trying to reach that thin ideal. Because that, like, nothing pisses people off more than a fat person that's not a self-hating fat person. Anyway, all of this is to say that I have had lots of experience with having bad body image days, because I just deal with a lot of negativity and discrimination and just like meanness, people being really mean to me. And you can only hear things a certain number of times before you start to internalize that. And so growing up, we get ourselves, you know, we hear those messages and we internalize that. We have those perceptions of fatness, and then we also get it from other people. And then so we're internalizing all of this. There's so much that's happening, and it sucks, and it's unfair. It's really unfair. But because of that, how could anyone then wake up every day and like feel amazing about themselves when they're being treated like that? You know, it's like impossible. So at different times in my life, I had more or less, or more or fewer, bad body image days. And that can be anything from like, you know, getting dressed, you know, when you like get dressed and like nothing looks good on you, even though like it's all the same clothes, your body hasn't changed, just like your attitude on that day is like nothing looks good, nothing, you know, is fitting quite right, nothing is like making you feel like maybe how it usually makes you feel. And then a lot of people have closets where on a regular basis their clothes don't make them feel great because they have never been able to find anything that like they really love and that just makes them feel good. Anyway, so it can be mild from just like kind of being in a funk, like nothing looks good, nothing feels good, or it can be much more intense where you're really feeling like, you know, like real animosity or real hatred towards body parts. Like whether it's your arms or your belly or your thighs or your butt or whatever it is, you know, you're just like, I don't know, can you relate with that? Like just really feeling like, and this is so awful, but I think it's very common, like if I could just like cut that off and then it would be so smooth, you know, or like cut that off and then it would be like change the way that, you know, my body shape is or whatever. I've definitely had those thoughts about my belly, because I carry so much of my weight in my belly and it just sticks out so much. Like I don't feel like that now, but I could next week. Like it's just so crazy how even like I'm pretty confident in my body and, you know, with my body in the world that I live in, and I still wake up some days and I want to cut my belly off. Like that's nuts. That's nuts to me. Like not that I would ever, you know, do that. I'm not like gonna self-harm or anything, but just like, you know, you look in the mirror or like whatever it is. Some people, I know a lot of people have issues about their arms and they just like, they're like, if I could just, you know, cut that off and then it would look like this and it would look, you know, like beautiful or, you know, fit in with the world, that kind of thing. And so to me, that's pretty intense to want to mutilate your body to make it fit in with the, you know, ideal beauty that's out there in the world. What am I doing? Put some makeup on your face. This is always what happens to me. Let's put some bronzer on because I've lost my tan. Was there a comment? Oh, hi guys. Hi Mary. Hi Orange Everything. I don't know what your actual name is. And then upside down says, absolutely talked to many friends over the years who mentioned the same impulse thought about cutting parts off. It sounds so violent and weird to talk about. Yeah. Yeah, and that's why I'm like, I feel weird talking about it now. Like, I don't want you to think that I'm like gonna go try to cut my belly off, but I think it's a very normal thing that we don't discuss very much. Like, you know, just what you just said, you've talked to friends about it. Just this idea of like, if I could just chop this off, then my body would fit into, or more fit into, this mold of like what a woman's body is supposed to look like. And I think dudes have the same thing. I've heard from men about having breasts and feeling like if I could just chop these off because they make me look so feminine, and I'm a cis man, and so I don't want to look feminine. I want to look like a man, because there's this idea of what a man looks like, and if you don't look like that, then toxic masculinity says that you're not a man. It's the same thing with woman identified folks. Like, if you don't have, you know, like a nice, you know, whatever, large enough chest, if your belly sticks out too much so that you don't have that good shape, if you don't have a big butt, if your butt is too big, it's like you can't win. Okay. Mary says, years ago at a salon, I was talking about my twin sons, and someone overheard twins and asked me how far along I was. I said my twins are 15 months old. Great. Yeah, that's why you chimed in, to say you get it. Yes. And I think that a lot of people do get that. And I wish that we talked about these things more, because I know people can feel very like, oh, I'm so weird, I have these thoughts, and then feel like they can't share them and have shame about the feelings that you have. But like, the thing is, you have the feelings that you have because you were engineered to have them. So like, and this is very easy for me to say, but like, don't feel shame about that. Feel pissed. Have some anger about that, because somebody taught you to view your body in that way. Somebody taught me, or a lot of somebody's taught me to view my body in that shameful way, in that self-hating way, so that I would want to mutilate myself. How screwed up is that? And that's like so many of us. Like, I always say, like, if you have a body, then you have body issues. Like, everyone. If you're thin, if you're fat, if you're short or you're tall, like whatever. If you are a man, if you're a woman, kids have body issues. Everybody has body issues. Let's see. There were many times you stood in front of a mirror and punched your belly yelling, I hate you. Oh, that's like, I hate that you did that. I get it. It makes me so sad. Because like, how miraculous is it that we even exist in the first place? And our culture has become so twisted that like, instead of celebrating like, hey, like there's blood pumping through my veins and my lungs are like breathing, and I don't have to tell them to do that, and I can like sing and yell and jump and like live my life, and like, oh, my belly's too big and so I have to hate myself, you know? Like, I feel like I talk about this a lot, like how absurd it is to hate bodies or to hate people just because they're bigger than other bodies. Like, if you break it down, like unpack it to those bare bones, it's so weird that we do that. Or that we hate people because they're darker, right? It's like, oh, you're too dark, or your belly is too big. Like, in this world where we could just be celebrating being alive and like being together, which I know sounds very Pollyanna, but despite like how sarcastic I am, I'm actually very Pollyanna. There are times when you got rid of all the mirrors. Yeah, so I've heard that from people before, for sure. And for some people, that's actually really helpful, because it takes the focus off of, you know, what they look like. And but for some people, it's like a really unhealthy way. So I don't know which one it is for you. And it's not my place to say, you know, what's healthy for anyone else. Only we can know. But it's like, so in my yoga class that I teach, I have the option of pulling curtains closed in front of the mirrors. And I used to sometimes teach classes like that because it was really helpful for people to not be able to see their body in class. And so some people really like that, but I don't do that anymore, because in yoga it's really important, I think, to be able to see your body so that you can see your alignment. And I also am a huge advocate of working with mirrors and photography as a part of your healing, which we're going to talk about, because that is like kind of the point today, is us talking about, what am I going to put on my eyes? Well, that's not the point of today, but is us talking about how do we turn around those days when we're like having those thoughts, we're having those feelings. I'm gonna do. I'm like looking at this palette like, what do I want to wear? I think I want to wear this like kind of seafoamy mint color. How do we turn this stuff around? And so I say that I'm a big advocate of using like mirrors and photography. So if you don't know, which you probably don't because I don't talk about it on here very much, but I am a body love coach. And so I work with people individually, like either in person, I'm just choosing a brush, in person or over Skype, to work on their particular body image issues and their self-care practice. And so one of the things that I like to do with all of my clients, regardless of what their particular issues are, is help them come up with ways to turn around the feelings that happen when they're having those bad body image days. And so I'm going to talk to you about some of the things that I like to tell people to do, which is working with mirrors. So one of the things that was really instrumental in helping me, as I learned how to not hate myself, and as I taught myself how to honor my body regardless of what it looked like, what size it was, or like how able it was, is something I call the mirror project. And I'm going to tell you what that is. So here's some free coaching. So you have to have a full-length mirror to start. And I know that a lot of people specifically don't have full-length mirrors. What happened to my eyeshadow? Because they don't like to look, they don't want to see. But you can get them cheap. And so if you want to try this, like go to Target, they have those cheap like behind the door style mirrors. Anyway, so you can get a mirror like that, and there's phases to this. So the first phase is just to get one of those mirrors and to start spending a little bit of time just looking at yourself in the mirror. And so the first phase is to find an outfit that you feel really good in. So something that when you put it on, you feel cute or sexy, or at the very least, like not gross. You want to feel, good in the outfit. So if you put it on and you don't feel good, put something else on until you find an outfit that works. I love this color. And so then what you do is you go and you stand in front of the mirror and you look at yourself and your outfit. And even if you feel cute in your outfit, you may look at your full body in the mirror and automatically start thinking negative things, which is really normal. And so what you have to learn to do is meet that negative thought or comment about yourself with something positive. And it doesn't have to be like, okay, so if I look in the mirror, and we'll talk about my belly because that's always a problem for me. If I see my belly in the outfit and I'm like, oh God, this outfit, like my belly's ruining the look or whatever, then I would say, okay, that's a negative thought. What can I say that's positive? And it doesn't have to be like, my belly looks great in this outfit, because if you don't believe that, it's not helpful. But you meet it with, I really appreciate that my belly is soft and my husband likes to put his head there. Like, there you go. That's one thing. I appreciate that the skin on my belly is really smooth and soft. I appreciate that it makes a little shelf for my cat to sit on. That made me sad because my cat still hasn't come home. I don't think she's coming home. Oh my God, that's really depressing. Okay. Or like I have said before, like I have a pretty strong set of core muscles. So a go-to for me is like I honor and respect and really am grateful for how strong my core muscles are. I appreciate that my belly holds all my organs in. Literally anything that you can say just to counteract the negative with something positive. And then you just go through. And so this is an exercise that will take you months to go through all the phases. It's a lot. It's a lot. But this first phase is like just learning to counteract the negative immediately with something positive. So you stand there and you go through all the negative things that you could say that you naturally, come to your mind, and you counteract all of them. And that you might stand there for a really long time, because if you have a lot of negative things that you want to say to yourself, then it's going to take a long time to counteract them with positive. But you just practice doing that. So that's phase one, is that you look in the mirror, and you do this a number of times. So this is not like, oh, one day I'm gonna go do that. I know that this eyeshadow color is not everyone's cup of tea, but I am so into it. I love just like a light wash of a bright color. Because I like, when I'm just like at home playing with makeup, I'll put on like bright, crazy looks, but I don't feel like comfortable enough to wear that out, because I just don't have the confidence for that yet. I'm working on it, because I never wore makeup like that. It's very new to me. But I love like a light wash of this like kind of minty, blue-green, sea foamy kind of color. Oh my gosh, I think it looks so pretty. Okay, I saw comments happening. Emily, I was just a bridesmaid and I was so anxious being photographed the entire time. It was something I've struggled with since I was a kid. The photographer wouldn't leave you alone about it, and it made things worse. Yeah, they don't know how to work with somebody like you. That's so screwed up. Maybe one day you can like yourself enough to be photographed. Okay, hold on, there's a lot of comments. Laura M, how do you work on loving yourself or your body when you want to, but your size is impacting your ability to do things physically that others can do easily? I'm a 26, 28, and I can't keep up with my spouse. Oh, yeah, we'll talk about that. Hold on, let me get through talking to you about the mirror exercise. So that's phase one, is like in your cute outfit, learning to counteract negative with a positive thing. And so phase two is doing that and wearing less clothes, which can kind of take you back to square one sometimes, but you're still building up this space. So now you've learned to counteract the negative with the positive, and you hopefully are feeling that bleed into the rest of your life. And so when you're, just living your life, I forgot I'm supposed to be putting on makeup. So when you're just living your life, then you can maybe find that happening at other times. So maybe you're like out and about, something happens. Okay, so to speak to Laura, maybe you're with your partner or your friend or a family member, and you're doing something and you are less able in that moment than other people, and so you start negative self-talking, right? I 100% know how that feels. Sharing a hiking and backpacking and camping hobby with my partner, who is more fit than me, and more physically able, because they have less like belly getting in their way and stuff like that. Like, I encounter those feelings, and it's a similar kind of thing. It's like stopping in the moment, instead of like letting those negative feelings like permeate your whole being and really holding on to that, and then later trying to like help yourself with it. You have to start addressing things in the moment. It's like with kids, like you have to address things in the moment, because otherwise like it doesn't mean as much to them when you talk about it, because they're like, well, that was forever ago, it was like an hour ago, but like kids are like, I don't know, pets, like you have to address things or else it doesn't mean anything. Anyway, so you have to treat yourself like that also. So in that moment, then all of this is teaching you how to press pause and remind yourself of your worth. And that's what all this boils down to, is reminding yourself in the moment that you are still a worthy human being. So like, if it's in the mirror or in a dressing room trying on clothes thing, like, oh, maybe nothing's fitting right and it's making you feel bad about your body, like, hit pause, reminder, I'm worth so much more than whether or not this dress fits me or this pair of pants fits me. In the moment, if you're out like hiking with somebody and you're starting to like be mean to yourself, pressing pause, I'm worth more than how fast I can hike. I'm worth more than, how far I can hike, or, whatever your thing is that's happening. For me, that's what's really important. Being kind to yourself and saying, I'm allowed to struggle. I'm allowed to breathe hard. I'm allowed to take breaks. Um, a little mantra that's been really helpful to me, I heard from, oh, what's her name? Anna. She lives in Portland. She's also a yoga teacher. Oh my God. Anna Chapman. And she said, breathing heavy is a reminder that you're alive. And that was so impactful for me on our last camping and hiking trip to New Mexico. I was really, so we're up on the mountain, so we're at a high altitude, and I live in Houston where my body is, you know, used to sea level altitude. And so all of a sudden, we're on this mountain where we like to go, but my body's not used to it, and I'm less able right now in terms of hiking. I just am, we haven't been doing it as much, and I'm just less fit than I have been in the past. And so I was really struggling at one point. I was like, oh, breathing so hard, and I was like, I really want to get up here so I can see this waterfall. That's what we were doing. And my husband is like doing fine, and I'm like, I gotta take a break, and I'm like breathing really hard because we're at altitude and also climbing up, right? And so not only am I already like base level having issues with the altitude because we're at like 11,000 feet or something, but on top of that, I'm hauling my, I don't know how much I weigh, but I probably like 375 or something, I don't know. I'm hauling my big ass body like up this mountain. It's a lot. And so, of course, in that moment, I don't see it in the way that I can see it now. So in the moment, I'm like, God, I'm so fat. I'm out of shape. I can't even do this. I'm like super negative self-talking to me. And I remembered hearing that from Anna Chapman because I was like, God, I'm breathing so hard. And like Richard's barely breathing hard at all. Number one, comparing yourself to other people is so mean and so uncalled for. But just saying to myself, breathing hard is a reminder that you're alive. And then it helps me to start just having gratitude. I'm alive. I'm on a mountain. I'm on vacation on a mountain. I'm hiking with the person I love the most. I'm in this beautiful scenery. I'm in nature. It's like breeze and sun. And yeah, I'm breathing hard, but I'm breathing this beautiful air. And I'm halfway up this mountain. And, you know, just like anything I can think of, as I'm taking a break, as my, you know, breathing is calming down, just to remind myself, like, what a privilege it was to be there in that moment, what a privilege it is to be alive in this world. All of these things. And then also to start, once I start calming down, I'm able to kind of remind myself, holy shit, like, you're like, for all, you know, intents and purposes, you're almost 400 pounds. You're hauling yourself up a mountain right now. Like, holy shit, like, that's great. You're doing great. That's awesome. Like, you are not just sitting there and, you know, saying, oh, I can't do that. You're actually trying. And like, even if I hadn't made it up to the waterfall, even if I had said, you know what, I need to sit and wait, or I need to turn around and go back, it doesn't matter because I tried, right? I put myself out there. I was vulnerable to the world and, you know, attempted to do the thing. You know, whether or not you actually make it to the top, like your summit, people like in mountain climbing talk about this, like your summit is, you know, wherever your body needs to stop. It's like your personal summit. Maybe that would have been my personal summit that day, or maybe not. But it's really like, because I have taught myself how to flip my script when I'm feeling so negative and mean, I have learned over a long time. This is hard, y'all. Like, I'm not trying to make this sound like it's so easy, just do whatever. Like, literally over a decade, specifically working on these things is how I've gotten to do that. So like, if you're just starting to try to work on these things, like, don't be mad at yourself. It's really hard. It's really, really hard. Okay, I don't know. I feel like I just started rambling. What was I actually talking about? Oh, the mirror. Oh my God. Are we still talking about the mirror project? So, less clothes, same thing. You're gonna start negative talking, meet it with something positive, but by this point, you have practice, so it'll be easier and easier and easier. So you do phase one with the clothes on until it comes really easily, until you stand in front of the mirror and either don't think negative things, or you like are able to think it and immediately counter with something positive and not have to work too hard. Like, it feels easy. Then you move on to phase two. It probably will feel really hard because you're gonna wear less clothes. So like in a bathing suit or your underwear, or maybe just in an outfit that is like less cute to you. If having like less clothes on isn't comfortable, just have like an outfit that is not so planned to make you feel cute. Do phase 2 until it comes really easily. Phase 3 is naked, which is usually the hardest for people. So phase 3 until it's easy. Spoiler alert, it takes a really long time. Oh my god, put on some makeup, Laura Burns. I don't know why I try to make these like get ready with me and talk, because I'm so unfocused. Okay. I'm gonna use this blush that I got recently. Have I tried? I have not tried this one. So this came from one of the beauty boxes. It's from Making Moves. It's a blush in the shade. No shade. It's a blush. Okay. So that's the mirror project. I don't know if anyone has commented. I'm gonna get to that in a second. Let me put some fogging blush on my face. Not that I need it because I'm already kind of red, but I've really been enjoying using blush lately. It's something that I never let myself use because I felt like I wasn't allowed to use it because I already had redness. But I have decided that I can wear whatever the hell I want to wear, and if I want to put blush on, then I'll put some blush on. Okay, let's look at the comments, and then Laura, we're going to circle back to your comment. Hi, Felicia. Hello, Mrs. Ashley. Orange everything. I love hiking in the woods, but you also struggle with self-consciousness over heavy breathing. Thank you for sharing my experience and some self-kindness. You're welcome. I hope that, you know, maybe if you're out there and you start feeling negative, remember about the heavy breathing. Breathing heavy is just a reminder that you're alive. I love that. And if that doesn't help you, then that's fine. It really helped me. So I'm going to test out this powder that I just got in the glossy box, the camera powder. So it's a setting powder. I'm just going to use it. Oh wait, I'm going to do my highlight first. I like to dust over everything just to kind of like help things look less harsh. Not that things are looking that harsh today, but it's like habit at this point. Okay, is that all the comments? So I can, okay. So Laura, let's talk about being less able than the people that you're with and making you feel crappy. I am familiar. So that story I just told about the hiking is a really good example of when that has happened, and that has happened with hiking before. You know, when you put yourself out there in an activity, whether it's hiking or going bike riding or I don't know, whatever people do, being at the gym, weightlifting, axe throwing, whatever it is that you do and those thoughts crop up, I think what's really helpful, well, there's a few things. One is what I just said and what we've been talking about this whole time, which is about flipping the script. Another one is if you're with somebody who you feel safe with and safe to talk to them about this, tell them how you're feeling. And maybe if you don't want to like fully get into it, like, hey, right now I'm feeling XYZ, maybe you can have like a little euphemism for it, or something to where you could, like if you're with a group and you don't want to get into it with your one person, you could have like a thing that you say, and when you say that, they know what you're feeling, kind of thing. So that then there's something that they could do to help you. Like if you're, I don't know, it's hard for me to think of other things. So I'll just address like things that I might situations that I might find myself in. Maybe we're group hiking and I start to feel that way, or like I keep having to stop and it's making it like I'm the only one that keeps having to stop and, you know, breathe heavy and catch my breath or whatever. You know, I would probably in that scenario talk to my husband beforehand so that when we're in that situation, I could just be like, hey, you know, like if you notice me like stopping a lot or whatever, can you, instead of like hiking at your own pace, which is normally what they would do, like, can you just like make it a point to like hang back with me just so I'm not by myself and so I feel like less out of place, right? So then they know, and then if they don't notice, the next time you catch up, you can just be like, you know, like take their hand, or, you know, like have something that you've agreed upon ahead of time to like, you know, reference, or it's like having a safe word, you know? So use, basically what I'm saying is like use the people around you if they are able to do that with you, just to be a support system for you. There are lots of things that people can do to help you feel more comfortable. And so one thing is in hiking, you're supposed to have the slowest person lead, because that sets the pace for everyone else and ensures that nobody gets left behind. But in reality, that often doesn't get implemented because you're in a group and people just like, whatever, they're not paying attention. They just assume everything's fine. Like, oh God, that was a lot. And so one thing you can do is like, if you're in a group activity, like have some rules or get someone else to suggest the rules. If you don't want to be the person to suggest the rule, figure out a way to get some rules created where it's like, have the slowest person set the pace. And so for me, I've had to learn to be okay with that because I didn't used to want to set the pace, especially when I was just hiking with my husband and a couple other people, or even just with the two of us. I'd be like, just go ahead, it's fine, I'll catch up. And like, yeah, it's true, I did just catch up, but I also realized that that would lead me to like having negative thoughts about my pace and feeling bad. And so I have really taught myself to accept that like classic tried and true wisdom in hiking where the slowest person sets the pace. And like, here's the thing, like, and you know, just speaking about hiking, but like hiking is not a race. So it's actually kind of great because it forces the faster people to slow down and, you know, take a little more time enjoying the scenery and not just being focused on like going faster. And that's actual feedback that I've heard from the faster hikers that have then, you know, gone slower to match the pace. So that's really cool. That's something you can do. And then I think honestly, so much of it just boils down to being kind to yourself. So for example, like what? We've been out before, and if you're like, oh, okay, so we were hiking in Big Bend, which is a national park in Texas, and it's beautiful. It's wild. It's so cool. There's mountains, there's desert, there's forest. We're on some hikes where it's like you start out and you're like on the desert floor, it's fine, whatever, maybe a little elevation, but then you get to a point where it's like boulders. So you have to go bouldering, which is like climbing over big fucking boulders. And I have this big belly and it keeps me from getting close to the rocks, if that makes sense. And so it's hard for me to like get my body as close in order to pull myself up and do things. Like, I don't know if that doesn't make sense. Basically, my belly would get in the way of me being able to like get up these rocks. And also, I don't have a ton of upper body strength. It's something I've been working on, but it's a struggle for me because it's not fun, and so I don't like to do it. And so it's hard for me to pull my weight up. Also, I'm a lot heavier, so I'm having to pull up more weight. And so I really struggled with things like that, whereas my husband can just like scramble up that and it's fine. And I definitely had some feelings about it, and which is fine. Like, we're allowed to have feelings about things, you know? And ultimately, at one point, I was like, so two things happened. One is I tried really, really hard to the point where I was actually kind of hurting myself, and it was not like trying in a healthy way. It was like pushing myself because I felt like I had to prove something. And then the other way that it can go, and the other way it did go eventually, is me saying, you know what? I don't need to do this. Like, would I like to? Yes. In this moment, I'm not able to do that, and that sucks, but I'm also not willing to hurt myself or to continue to hurt myself physically or hurt myself emotionally or mentally just to get up these rocks. And once I get there, like, are there just going to be more rocks that are going to be super hard? Like, how do I know when it stops? You know, it's like, is this worth it to me in this moment? And it wasn't worth it to me in that moment. It was supposed to be fun, and it was not fun anymore. So in that moment, I was like, you go ahead, take some pictures, and I'll look at it. And like, maybe next time we come back, I'll be in a place where I can scramble up these boulders. And if I'm not, then it doesn't matter. It's fine. Like, it doesn't make me a worthless person. It doesn't mean that I'm not valuable. It doesn't mean that I'm not fun. You know, like, all these things that we tell ourselves. Anyway, I feel like I'm just like repeating myself over and over. I'm sorry. Comments. Wench sauce. I love it. Your boyfriend is a tattoo artist, and this weekend the shop owner is taking the whole shop to do a river float. You're scared of water because you can't swim, but you're also the biggest person that will be there, which is making you worried about what you're gonna wear, showing your legs, getting on and off the raft. Yeah, you want to go and have fun, but you're so worried about the only one not being able to do things and the only person in a swimsuit. I get you. Number one, actually, like river rafting and floating is actually really friendly to fat people. So that's good to keep in mind. You might, so here's a common thing. Like if you are a larger person wanting to do these like outdoor things, what is helpful and a way to advocate for yourself is to figure out, like if you're not the one planning the trip, get the name of the company so that you can call ahead in case they haven't asked you about like sizing or anything, and just ask like, hey, you know, what size life vest do you have? So that they can know that if they don't have it, they need to get you one. Because if a company is being paid to perform this service, like their job is to get you a life jacket. But if they don't know beforehand, you're gonna show up and they may not have your size. So one of the best things you can do to help calm your anxiety and ensure that things will go smoother when you get there is to do a little bit of prep work, which, you know, a straight sized person is not gonna have to do, but as fat people, we very often have to do a lot of extra work to ensure that we can have these experiences. But at least you get to have this experience. As far as being in a swimsuit in public, like, yes, as a fat person, I totally get like being like, oh my God, I have to be in a swimsuit in public. But like, probably most of the people who are going are also having some kind of anxiety about being in a swimsuit in public. Even people that you would look at and think, oh, they, you know, like they have no cares about being in a swimsuit in public. Like they probably do, because they're people, like they're normal people. And they also live in this culture of body shaming. And then getting on and off the raft is probably going to feel awkward for everyone their first time. I've only rafted a couple times, and the good news is that somebody's always going to fall in, somebody's always going to like trip. Somebody is always going to do the thing that you're worried about doing, and it's probably not going to be you for all of them. Like, you know, there's lots of bloopers that happen in outdoor things, and especially with rafting, just because of the water makes everything, you know, a little less stable. I don't know if this is like reassuring you, but I guess my point is everybody has worries about like swimsuits and stuff, and if this is a group that in general you feel pretty safe and comfortable with, like it's gonna be fine. If this is a group that you don't already feel comfortable and safe with, that is much more challenging. If there's anyone that you can talk to like kind of have them be your ally, I would really encourage you to do that so that they can kind of like also be looking out for you. And if there's anything you can do to advocate for yourself beforehand, like calling and asking about life jacket sizes, I would really encourage you to do that. I would like to address my new eyelash curler. I talked about eyelash curlers in a recent video and got some feedback about eyelash curlers that are good for Asian eyes, and basically got the permission that I needed. I've been wanting to buy this eyelash curler from Shuumura for a long time because it's like made for Asian people, but I didn't want to pay for it. And so I didn't. So I would like put it in my cart, take it out of my cart, whatever. I never bought it. But then I went ahead and bought it because of that video and the feedback that I got. So it's great. It fits my eye so well. It's amazing. It like, it's so easy to put it on, and it's like automatically sits really nicely on my eye. I'm not like pinching myself like I was before. It's getting more of my eyelashes instead of skipping them because it's not, my old one didn't fit nicely to my eye. It's great. I love it. I also got, oh, I told you about this. This is why I was talking about eyelashes in the last video. But this tube mascara, which I've really been enjoying. So hold on. I'll look at the comments in a second, but let me do this. So this is the Kevyn Aucoin Volume Mascara. It's tubes. Look. How are you guys doing today? I didn't even ask you. How rude. How is everyone? Is anyone else really bad at putting on mascara? Is it just me? I'm sorry, I cannot talk while I do this. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay. Yay! I can't believe I totally forgot that tubing mascara exists. It's like what I need. Wenchels, thank you for your advice. You've helped me calm my nerves. I'm so glad. I hope I can be. I was like, as I was talking, I was like, I feel like the things I'm saying maybe aren't the most reassuring. You know, all I can say is we can only do what we can do. You know, we can try to advocate for ourselves. We can work on being nice to ourselves and flipping the script. We can be vulnerable and ask for help from other people so that they can support it. And like, these people love us. Like, they want to support us. If there's things that they can do to help us be more comfortable, like, they're probably going to do it, you know? But all that being said, like, sometimes it's going to suck. And how we recover from when it sucks, like, so when I was kayaking with my husband, I kept falling over, because they were like cheap kayaks to start with. Like the really good ones, they don't tip like that, but I kept falling over and it was like embarrassing. I was like, and it was like funny, but like also like, oh my God, it was like kind of embarrassing because I kept tipping over and he like didn't tip over once. And, like sometimes you're gonna tip over. You're gonna end up in the water, like with your kayak on top of you, and it's gonna be a little embarrassing, or you're gonna be breathing hard and have to take more breaks than everyone else. But I think the thing that has been most impactful for me is to learn to remind myself just to be grateful. So even like in the most embarrassing situation where I'm the most out of breath and I'm the most behind, or I'm the slowest, or like I fell over in a canoe, or, you know, whatever, fell off a boat, or whatever it is, whatever the thing is that is embarrassing in that moment, like, I can always, usually, bring it back around just to be grateful. Like, I'm grateful that I was on a boat to even fall off of. I'm grateful that I'm on a vacation to be kayaking with my husband. Grateful to be on that mountain. I'm grateful to have breath in my body, even if it is coming very hard and fast right now and nobody else is breathing like that. You know, just trying to remember that we're here and that we are taking up space in this world where so many people are not around anymore to take up space or to breathe. And that feels really special to me. And I almost, and you know, for me, I have also the history of not wanting to exist anymore because I hated myself so much. And so I just remember, like, I could not be here right now, you know? But I am here to like pour makeup or apply makeup poorly, to, you know, fall out of a kayak, whatever, to have my heart broken because my cat disappeared. All of these things, like, the alternative is I wouldn't be here and none of these things would be happening to me, and I also wouldn't have the opportunity for all the wonderful things that are happening, you know? Okay, so for lips, I'm gonna wear this lipstick in the shade Lido from the brand Ariza. I just got this in the glossy box, so I thought I would try it on. Looks like this. I'm not going to do any lip liner or anything. So it's a real pinky nude. There we go. Okay, so this is my like kind of more fun, colorful look. I've got my like kind of seafoamy, minty eyes and my pink lip. My gray hairs are popping. All right, ta-da! Oh, let's set it. Let's set it. So then you'll see this makeup because I'm about to go film. So you'll see this makeup in the video. Oh, I love this setting spray. This is the Chill setting spray from Urban Decay. It says it's cooling and hydrating. And it really does like feel cooling when you put it on. Anyway, I like it a lot, especially in the summer. It feels good. Okay, there we go. Let's look at the comments. Leah didn't get a notification. Leah says we're all here with just as much right to live as anyone else. It's not their body, it's yours. Your body is worthy of living in it. Yes! I'm like, snaps, like yes, exactly. Oh, you like where my grays are? I know, I want them to come in more, like a thicker streak, because I love them. They're so pretty. And I'm like, give me more. Okay. All right, so we're at 50 minutes. That seems like a good place to stop. And I finished my makeup, so. My verdict on this lipstick is, it's really lightweight. It just feels like, I don't know, like chapstick. Not like waxy like chapstick, but like really light like chapstick. So yeah, this is good. I like this. I'll wear this. It's a nice color on me. It's like a little bit of a brighter nude than I would wear. I typically go like kind of dark because I came of makeup age in the 90s. I came of age when brown lipstick was the thing. So for me, like this is like the brighter end of a nude that I would want to wear. But I like it. And I like it like for a brighter, like more fun look for the summer. Maybe not for like winter, but yeah, cool. I'm glad that I like that. All right, so if you watch this later, please comment any comments you have along the way. I do try my best to look at all the comments and respond to things. I usually have time for that. And if you're here now and you still have comments after I sign off, then you can come back and comment on the thing. Thank you for being here and, where am I looking? In the wrong place. Thank you for being here and commenting about this. I know that I tend to ramble, so I appreciate you sticking around. But yeah, let me know in the comments if there are other topics you want to talk about for our coffee talk and our get ready with me's. I really enjoy having these conversations with y'all. I think it's really important that we talk about these things, especially since a lot of these are things that we don't talk about with other people. So at least if we can do it here on YouTube, the conversations are being had. And even if you hear something and you like hear it, but you don't hear it, hopefully it's planting a seed for you to build on that and in the future to really feel it more and to really believe it and hold it in your body. I hope that if you decide to try the mirror exercise that it's helpful for you. That was one of the most impactful things that I was able to do for myself. Oh, we didn't even talk about photography stuff. So maybe we'll have to have a part 2. I'll tell you my exercises for using photo and video to help you hate your body less. Okay, I think there was one comment. Send me a watery tint. They feel like water but give so much color. Ooh, I'm interested in that. Okay, I'm gonna go because I'm gonna go film this other video that you don't know what it is, but I do, and I'm very excited about it. And yeah, so I'll see y'all next time. Thank you so much for being here. I'm sending you all so much love and gratitude, and I'm so happy with our community. I just hope that we engage even more, we grow, add more people, and I will talk to you later. Bye.